Chat series. The topic of discussion today is about automation to autonomy. My name is Ravi Ramasamy. I'm the digital transformation for Dotsol. I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been an ex-CIO for a financial services company. Now I'm on the service provider side working for Dotsol. And I have two distinguished gentlemen here, Sasan Vossoughi and Prasad Ramakrishnan, who are deeply involved in the autonomous AI space. And we're going to have a discussion about how the automation to autonomy is impacting the enterprise. Sasan and Prasad, would you kindly introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ravi. My name is Sasan Vossoughi. I've been involved in technology all my career, from IT application, infrastructure operations, cybersecurity, and product development, you name it. Whether I was a CIO for a public company or a pre-IPO company, I've always been focused on business outcomes. How can technology really transform processes and functions within the business? Here at Solve, I'm head of customer advocacy and find myself in the middle of the AI revolution, trying to help customers innovate, figure out further efficiencies, and shift their employees from what they're working on today to more value-added tasks. Prasad?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Prasad Ramakrishnan. Sasan, that's a tough act to follow, man. Like Sasan, I've been in the IT industry for 35 years, and I've been involved in IT strategy, business applications, infrastructure, data analytics, information security. Most recently, I was a CIO at Freshworks, where I helped them through their IPO process, and prior to that, I was with Viva. Here at Dotsol, I'm playing the role of an advisor, helping Dotsol's customers tap into the potential of what AI can bring for them. So super excited to be part of this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, we're going to have a very broad discussion today. We're going to talk about how the AI has evolved from automation to autonomy, the agentic AI part. We're also going to discuss how it is transforming business in the finance, operations, sales, and beyond. And last but not the least, there is a paradigm shift in how the pricing is happening in the agentic AI world. We're going to touch upon that as well, and how it is really helping the enterprises look at the AI spend in a totally different way. So to start with the evolution, Sasan, if you can kindly help us to understand what agentic AI is, and also how it fits into the broader AI revolution to set the stage. Everybody knows here agentic AI, different definition. Just to set the stage, help us understand what the term agentic AI is. Thank you.
Agentic AI is really going beyond predictive modeling and prompt, LLMs or Gen AI that a lot of people know it by. It's really it's going into autonomous AI. These are AIs that perceive their environment. They can make decisions autonomously without human intervention, and they do all of this while they're continuing to learn and improve over time. I think I read somewhere that in last year only 1% of enterprise applications were shipped with some sort of an agentic AI component. This is changing so rapidly. By 2028, 33% of these enterprise applications are going to have a agentic AI component to them. And this translates into 15% of enterprise tasks and activities being done autonomously by an agentic AI. Point something out though, it's not like day one you're going to have the human out of the loop. A lot of these tools are going to evolve over time. As I mentioned, they're going to learn over time. As the human in the loop keeps on making some of the decisions and the corner cases, then the human will have to will need to just move out, and the agentic AI will make those decisions. And the other piece is about, you hear a lot about humans being replaced. No, humans are going to shift from what they do today to more value-added tasks.
Yeah, so true, Sasan. If you, in fact, the CEO of ServiceNow, in one of the recent interviews, that's exactly what he said. AI is not going to replace workers. It's actually going to make our workers more productive, right? And if you look at what Jensen Huang of NVIDIA said, we are in the dawn of the new industrial revolution. So very similar to how the industrial revolution of the 1800s transformed the workforce from more manual labor to automated machines. Now AI is now going to create a new breed of workforce here. So it's a super exciting time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Agreed.
Actually, see, one thing I keep hearing about is this progression, the evolution, right? Prasad, if you can walk us through the evolution of AI, and how actually this evolution is very impactful to the enterprise, that'll be very helpful for the audience to understand.
Totally, Ravi. So if you look at AI and automation, this is not something new, right? Machine learning algorithms and AI have those technologies have existed since the 70s and 80s, right? But it's only now that we are seeing it being more mainstream. In the early 2000s, businesses started automating processes using what we called robotic process automation, right? With the evolution of technology, which enabled systems to actually act like humans. Instead of humans clicking through various applications, RPA bots started automating routine, repeatable tasks, right? Then came the first generation of AI, where you start looking through the rear view mirror, right? So all the work that was done with machine learning and AI started getting use cases in terms of predictive modeling. You look in the rear view mirror, see what your sales were, what your error rates were, and start looking at predicting what life is going to look like moving forward. Where do you need to spend more time and effort from a maintenance perspective? How do you make sure that you increase customer retention, reduce customer churn, and so on? In 2023, it was just 2 years ago, when the whole Chat GPT announcement came out, it completely transformed the face of AI, where instead of it being a one-way conversation where you're just looking in the rear view mirror, you're now able to have a round trip conversation, right? Where you ask a particular prompt or a question, and the system is coming back with an answer, and you can ask a follow-up question and get back an answer. That's what generative AI did, right? But now we're going to take it one step further, where instead of it just having a conversation with you, imagine if the AI agent can autonomously make decisions, can autonomously go and perform actions, and then reduce all the mundane work that the humans would do. That's what AgenticAI is going to be doing for us, right? So it's a beautiful progression, right? Humans, once we got used to automation, we are now bringing all of these things together to make our life better.
Awesome. I think one thing, a common thread across all this thing is, I think there is a general misconception that all the technology is going to replace human being. That is really not the case, right? It is essentially moving the people do more value-added tasks and doing the more repetitive, mundane tasks, so that people can add value to the enterprise. I think.
Yep.
You guys agree? Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to move to more from a definition evolution into a practical examples of agentic AI. Sasan, if you can share with us a practical example of how agentic AI is applied across the enterprise, right? Different business functions. So if you can help us walk through one of them.
I can give you a couple of examples. Let's take sales. In sales, agentic AI has the potential to automate the lead qualification, prioritization of opportunities, sending personalized follow-ups, and so on. Really freeing up the salesperson to do more value-added tasks. You can see this in tools like Salesforce Agentforce or SalesLoft. Both of them are in early stages of creating this autonomous agents, but I say early stages. They're so rapidly evolving and getting to their vision. It's amazing. but they're kind of starting from these co-pilots and then moving to full autonomous agents. There's also a solution called Conversica. This tool autonomously engages with leads and executes follow-ups aligned with um, predictive sales goals. Um, so that's in sales. In purchasing, purchasing and supply chain area. I think that's definitely these are areas, especially around inventory management. I see these agentic AIs getting closer to that vision of autonomous, uh, agents. They, everything from uh, managing sourcing, supplier negotiations, onboarding, purchase orders, compliance, payments, demand forecasting, you know, reordering based on inventory levels and so on. I think this is again very close to realization here. We're actually working on a tool that we're developing ourselves based on our customers asked to do a lot of this. And I think that the areas that it still needs to be really developed and in these agents is where the macroeconomic situations could impact the supply chain globally. How does the agent then adjust itself and all of that? So there's still yet a lot of more work to do, but I think that we're getting there.
Awesome. Actually, it's a remarkable process, right? But I feel that we are still in the transition phase. And and one more thing is, I think agentic AI not only it's not a technology, it's not a tool. It's becoming more like a co-worker, helping the actual human beings do the job better, and also taking some of the tasks off the table. And also the agentic AI, uh, it really helps in integrating the organization process and workflows better because one agent can hand off to another agent seamlessly, and then the process can continue. Yeah. Um, it it,
Awesome.
it also increases the operational efficiency in the organization, and and basically, if you can imagine, the supply chain, your example talked to about supply chain, Sasan, if there's any fluctuation, the agent can detect it before the human being have to look at it and act on it. Or
Sure.
if there is a pipeline problem, the agent can look at it and make sure that there is a either reroute the pipeline, get a source from a different source, or make some decisions like that autonomously, right? So
Right.
Yeah, and one important point, Ravi, if you notice from what Sasan was describing, right? Leading platforms, they're embedding these capabilities into their own products.
oh yeah,
So it's not like you have a whole bunch of tools, because if you look at the companies, they have a whole bunch of tools that they have already invested in. You
Yeah.
do not have to buy one more tool to deploy or to take advantage of agentic AI. Almost all of the leading platforms, they are putting a lot of R&D into figuring out how do you enable agentic AI capabilities within your own platform, right? So that way you're not going to get full realization of the value from the investment that you already made.
a great point. I
Agree.
actually that kind of leads into this the process question, right? So we always talk about agentic AI performing a process. Prasad, if you can walk us through a process, for example, lead to customer process, how agentic AI can play in this entire automation or autonomous, working of this process, that'll be very helpful to understand.
Yeah, sure, Ravi. So if you take a classic lead to cash process, right? Companies spend a lot of capital to get leads into the business, right? And then they qualify the leads, they enrich the leads, and then pass it to the sales organization so that the sales team can take it from a prospect to a suspect to an actual paying customer, right? There's a lot of opportunities here for agentic AI to play a role. A few examples, right? One is from a point of view of qualifying leads, right? You can actually now take an agentic an agent to actually now start talking to the customer to even pre-qualify the customer. instead of a human in the middle doing it, right? Or instead of a pre-sales agent doing it, you can actually have an AI agent talking to the prospect, getting the details of what the problem statement is. Second, lead enrichment. This is another area where instead of you going and researching through hundreds of LinkedIn profiles or hundreds of websites, an agent can actually go scrape through all of the information that's available online about this prospect or this customer and enrich the customer. And when it comes to giving out a sales pitch to our prospect, again, Agentic AI can now take all the underlying information that it has within the CRM system, as well as the external information that it has found from from public sources, and now do a tailored pitch, so that when our sales rep is actually talking to the customer, it looks like a more tailored pitch rather than just a generic pitch, right? Like this, every single aspect of the sales process can be automated using Agent AI. Deal monitoring, for example, where one of the things which every sales organization wants to do is to make sure that the CRM is kept up to date. And I don't know about other places, but sales reps hate to go and update sales information within the CRM, right?
Very true.
Right. So this is again a place where the sales rep should actually be spending more time in front of customers rather than going and entering information into a CRM. And this is where have an agentic AI take the information with some basic one or two lines from the sales rep. It actually goes and updates the CRM. Right. So that way now sales operations and sales management has complete visibility. So lots of scope here, Ravi, in the sales process.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to kind of shift a little bit from a general discussion about agentic AI and go into an actual working of an agentic AI. How are we going to build an agentic AI? So there is that concept of RPA and bots being strung together to create an agent. Sasan, if you can walk us through how that process works and how companies can start using the existing RPA bots and how they can move to the agentic AI world, that would be super useful.
Let me focus on general ledger. Actually, we're working with a customer right now. Over the past few years, we've deployed probably over 100 RPAs for this customer. Now they've gained a lot of efficiencies. Now they're basically asking us to take it to the next level. And we're basically coming back with taking these RPAs, putting them, connecting them together, and making them more autonomous. Let me tell you. And actually, this is a really good way for people to get into agentic AI, is doing small POCs like this, and kind of dipping your toes in slowly and learning while you go at this. Because big companies are spending a lot of money on this stuff, and they're jumping in with both feet. But many companies, they need to build governance and lots of different areas. They need to look at their data. So starting at these RPAs and connecting together and taking the human out of the loop, I think it's a really good way of going after AI and autonomous AI. So for this customer, we have three closely related RPAs, and one of them does freight coding. It connects to FedEx and the expediters to download freight bills, GL coding rules to code it. Then there's a second one that basically the freight bill upload RPA. This one manually initiates and uploads the freight bills into AP, accounts payable. The third one, it's a completeness validation RPA, logs into Flowcast application, downloads the reconciliation reports, and then based on a date range, it prepares the monthly completeness check file. So we're kind of bringing all these three together. The team has proposed three key enhancements to create these the autonomous agent. First, we have to detect errors, identify missing or incorrect GL entries, and then flagging them for anomalies, flagging those anomalies for review, but basically. The second one is to create a self-learning mechanism to learn these codings, GL codings over time, and reduce the need for any kind of anomaly detection, making the AI decides on its own, and then continually handling all the corner cases, identifying patterns and learning from the feedback to minimize errors and in financial statements.
The
So
self-learning
that's
capability.
basically
Yeah.
So that's basically what the team has proposed.
Actually, there's a question from the audience. How do you wrap the whole thing together in the RPA? When you string the agents, how do you actually wrap things together? Is a question from the audience.
Great question. To create the fully autonomous AI solutions, we're going to do 4 functionalities, if I remember correctly. We're going to use a central orchestrator, and the orchestrator will trigger the RPA workflows. UiPath, which is what we use for this customer, has an orchestrator. There's also a reframework that can be used here. The second piece is a decision-making capabilities. There are 2 key decisions here that we got to keep in mind. When and if you encounter data anomalies or missing fields, how are we going to escalate that? And then how do we get the human out of the loop after a while? And the second decision is, how do we prioritize tasks? Should it be based on deadlines or data dependencies? So here we can use UiPath AI Center, and we probably need some machine learning coding here as well. Third is autonomous execution. So we need autonomous monitoring for process completion, trigger follow-up actions and things like that. And here we can use the UiPath functionality such as state machines in UiPath Studio that triggers the orchestrator and the action center. Both of these together can be used here. And then finally, for self-learning, how do you create that feedback loop to improve over time and the accuracy and all of that? And here you have the AI Center for retraining, but I think that we're gonna have to do some machine learning here as well, some coding. So in general, I think that's an 8 to 12 week project. You can do the sessions where you bring in the business in and the IT organization from the company, just to make sure that they are involved and we do the right thing.
Awesome. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to shift another small shift is we initially, when you talked about there's a paradigm shift in the pricing model as well. Everybody's seeing that, but it's not very clear yet, right? So what is the shift? How is it going to impact the CIO or the bean counters organization, right? So what's the shift in the pricing model from the traditional package model to the SaaS model to now the agentic AI model?
Yeah, no, great question, Ravi. If you look at what happened in the early 2000s, right, we moved away from a capital-intensive model to an expense-based model, right? Pre-2000, we used to buy an Oracle license or an SAP license or a Bond license, right, or a PeopleSoft license. Then you would need to also get licenses for your underlying storage, your underlying servers, for your network, your storage area network, right? And then you need to now have an army of engineers, a database administrator, and all of that to take care of now maintaining this entire stack. Right. What SaaS did for us is completely changed it, where the chain of custody or the chain of responsibility in terms of maintaining all the things that I talked about, all the hardware and the network and all of that, now that responsibility is the SaaS vendor, and me as a customer pay on a per user per month type of a model, right? So that's the model that we have been used to in the last 20-25 years. Now, with agentic AI and AI becoming more mainstream, we are going to start moving towards more value-based pricing. Because think about it, instead of buying, let's say you have 500 employees, instead of buying 500 seat licenses, you may buy a certain number of seat licenses because you still need the humans to actually go interact with the system. But the rest of it would be more autonomous agents working, where the pricing would be more outcome based, would be more value based, rather than being more on a per user per month, right?
Got it.
And so that's the paradigm shift that is happening. And companies are still trying to figure out how do we price this, right? There's some learnings and there is some early pricing models that have come in, right? And some of them have been good steps and some of them have been missteps. So companies are trying to learn. And we as CIOs are also trying to figure out how do you readjust your budget so that you're not, because it's not new money that's going to come into the IT budget just for the sake of AI, right? We're still working with the same envelope that's given to us by finance at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
So it is about how do we make the trade-offs in terms of the licensing model from a per user per model basis to more the new paradigm. And I think when Sasan and I were talking, the new terminology is service as a software, not software as a service.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
it
in
will also
fact,
increase the level of transparency, right, Sasan?
yeah, good point. In fact, I think this is easier to sell to FP&A or to the CFO. In the past, you would come in and say, look, I need X number of seats, and it would cost, an arm and a leg per year. But now you basically go and say, look, if we do this agentic AI or this AI solution, it's going to do X number of autonomous tasks. This would be saving of one headcount. So it's much easier for the CFO to see that and be able to say, okay, yeah, I approve or not.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Actually, another question from the audience. We have been talking about agentic AI. Some companies the larger companies have started working with agentic AI, but the mid-size or the mid to large size companies, they yet to start. So the question from the audience is, where do I start? What is the process you go through to tap into this agentic AI revolution?
Yeah, as with any technology solution, right? Don't be a solution looking for a problem, right? At the end of the day, AI is a means to the end. AI is not the end by itself, right? So start small, right? Break down your entire process landscape and take whatever process you're trying to streamline here, whether it's your hire to retire process or your order to cash process, or your lead to cash process, right? Or your financial close process. Take any of your processes and start decomposing them into its constituent parts. That will give you insights as to the opportunities where you can start automating, right? Is this something where is it even a candidate for automation? And once you decompose the task, you'll start getting those initial insights, and then pick and choose one of them, and then start building on them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And then, I think the other piece of it is it's not an all or nothing approach, like you just said. It's got to be a transition, structured transition. You start with the human in the loop. Some of the corner cases, the human can make decisions, and slowly, as the AI learns, it can slowly move the human out of the loop. I think, and that's kind of why I think that for companies that are really trying to dip their toe in this RPA, you start out with the process as Prasad mentioned. You break that down. You start. You have some automation through RPA. Now let's connect those RPAs and slowly create that autonomous agent.
But needless to say, right, it's not like flipping a switch. We talked about this evolution. The companies have to, when they want to go through the agentic AI process, it's more like an evolution. You start small, you refine, and you essentially spread it across the enterprise and start using the agentic agent wherever it's applicable, right? And then one thing I would like to also point out, that's all. We have a lot of experience in helping companies go through the transition and basically automate from automation to autonomy in the enterprise. So I think it's a great discussion. I think agentic AI is transforming the workplace, and a lot of work is happening in the last couple of years, especially in the autonomous space. And that's all has gone through the journey. That's all. Has been working with RPA for a long time, been helping companies do predictive modeling for a long time, Gen AI, and now Agentic AI. And that's all is really there to help customers go through the transition process. So, Sasan and Prasad, any closing thoughts?
Prasad, you want to go first?
Yeah. So, I want to go back to what Jensen Huang said, right? We are at the dawn of the next industrial revolution, and we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
As you'd have heard from what the couple of examples that Sasan gave, right? The possibilities are endless, right? Companies are now going to start figuring out, how do I increase rep productivity? How am I going to increase the productivity of my finance organization, my sales organization, my HR organization, and my employees, and improve their satisfaction by giving them the tools, right? And every new technology wave gives you new possibilities, right? So we are at the dawn of a very exciting technology transformation. Agentic AI is going to completely change the world, and we should all be glad that we are all in the midst of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that again, I think that we're going to help companies start out small and do some POCs and grow into this. The big bang, the most powerful, the biggest ROIs come in when you take ERP, CRM, all of those tools, and you start connecting them to agentic AIs. And that's where the big payback is going to be. I think that one of the things that we're doing here is really taking a look at enterprises, and are they ready for this or not, right? So we do this AI assessment, and one of the biggest areas that we look at is data readiness. So we can help take you to your next level of efficiencies and migrate your employees to more value-added tasks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and the audience. I think we had a fantastic discussion on how AI revolution is moving from automation to autonomy and how it impacts the organization. And thanks also for talking through the paradigm shift in the pricing model. That's all is very deep in the space, and we'd love to help. And you can please use the QR code on the screen and to reach out to us, and we'll be more than willing to help. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Sasan.
Thank you, guys. Great conversation.
Lovely.